Ooh, JJ and Deacon, they're the ones in the know. Subscribe quick, the squid monster's on the way. Inspire with us, tomorrow's news today. Tomorrow, yeah.
Did we suffer a solar flare, or are we in a cyber war? And also, Gemini's woke and racist. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I am JJW. This is Friday. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Aliens are not on the docket.
It was aliens.
I'm JJ.
Totally.
That's Deacon. This is Dave. We're your two dads, or we're your two dads, or they're your two dads. Either one. Either way, you definitely got two dads here. We are here Monday through Friday. Yeah. Oh no. Why? There. Somehow the thing got messed up. All right. Anyway, we're Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, here on rumble.com/JJW or youtube.com/. Links in the description below.
That's all capitals, by the way.
You might want to check the link for how to spell it.
Yeah.
Or you could just click the link. Good morning, everybody. Okay, guys. What's up? Dave, we haven't seen you. Dave and I talked yesterday, Deke. We talked yesterday, which I tried to pull you in because I was like, oh my God, I have AI lying to me right now.
You're not the only one. I've got another story about that I watched this morning. I actually don't have the story. I haven't pulled it up, but I watched a video of a guy talking about, have you heard the Air Canada AI fiasco? And he was basically telling this story about this guy who had a bereavement in his family and had to get Air Canada, had to fly quickly.
Yeah.
And he had a death, and he was wondering if they had a bereavement policy, or he knew they had a bereavement policy. But what he was wondering specifically was, can he go ahead and buy the ticket now because he was in a rush, and then apply for the bereavement thing afterwards, and then give him the discount afterwards? So Air Canada employs ChatGPT, right? As like a chat helper. So he gets on there and asks, and ChatGPT just invents a freaking policy and says, yeah, you can do that. And they already had a bereavement policy that did not do that.
About this.
But the chat completely created a policy that they did not have and told this guy. So this guy sued after they were like, no, we're not giving that. We already had a policy. You should have checked, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, we used your AI. So the Air Canada's lawyers basically argued that the Chat GPT was its own entity, and it was billed as an outside consultant and was not an
seems like you need to sue Chat GPT.
No,
Meanwhile, you need to honor me.
The judge was like, that's bullshit. The judge was like, that's a bunch of horseshit right there.
Right.
So yeah, isn't that funny? And the whole conversation that it opened up was about how corporations are going to utilize this and then try to get out of it when it messes up, because the large language model that the AI is based on right now is basically designed to hallucinate right now. It's going to hallucinate for a while.
It does. And it can't hold its own memory long enough. It cannot form consistent thought patterns. Like you can engage it, but with facts, and it's just like blur.
Let me tell you, I use it every day, and I have some chats with it that are thousands of prompts. It's large, that I'm doing one particular thing in one book with, and I want it to refer to the whole chat. That's why I don't start new ones. I want to keep everything in one so it can refer to this. Right. And I have my specific instructions already set up. When you answer questions, answer it like this. When you do this, do this, do this. You're going to answer this way, and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it forgets entirely.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question, Deke.
I'll have to be like, are you not paying attention?
I've used ChatGPT very few times, and I've tried to create like 10 and 20 questions deep. You're talking thousands. Can you delete like say number 4 and number 17, or do you have to keep the whole thing going?
Let's say I've started a conversation with you here, all right, and here's your answer. I can refresh that answer
Sure.
2 or 3 times, and you'll see at the bottom where you can actually go back and see the other answers. So let's say you refreshed it 5 times, this one answer 5 times, and you go back to 1, the answer that it gave you on number 1, you can have a conversation there and then go back. You can have a conversation 100 questions deep and then go all the way back to that first question because you had 5 different answers that you had it generate, and go to the second answer and then start a whole new conversation with that answer. Because what I have ran into is I have picked stuff and put it in my book from certain things, and then I have gone and been like, oh, well, let me just go back to this. If you want to, you can always go back to like question 4 and completely change it. Like if question 4 was what is, name 5 things that are the color blue, and it lists, and then you go on 30 questions deep from that, you can go back to question 4 and go, name me 5 things that are the color red, and it'll start a whole new conversation, but it'll keep that initial conversation. So it logs everything. You just have to know how to go back and find it. So it'll stay on the path that you're on. But if you say go back to this path or go back to this path, it'll go.
But I cannot remove a log, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I can delete stuff. I mean, but I don't.
But if you go down track A, answer 1, that chain, and then go back up and change it to another one and go down a new chain, it doesn't remember the other chain.
No, that other chain is a completely different conversation.
It cannot have 2 different flows of thought at the same time.
I've tried that because I've opened up a new chat and been like, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll say, refer to blah, blah, blah earlier. And it just invents shit. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And it took me a second. And I'm like, oh, I'm in a different chat than my main one. It doesn't know what I'm talking about. So it's still in its infancy. It has definitely grown in the 1.5 to 2 years that I've been using it. I've definitely seen it grow. It's gotten a lot better. And I use the free crap. I don't pay for it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, look, we're on AI, so we're going to stay on AI and on this notion of like chatting with AI. So after our show yesterday, you guys miss all the fun after the show because Deacon and I will just sit around and just bullshit and talk about stuff
for an hour after the show.
Yeah, we kicked back some ideas. We had these great ideas, and we're like, let's do this. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll do like an after show thing. The way for you guys to find out probably about that would be if you liked and subscribed to the show, you might find out about it.
His beanie.
Anyway, so yesterday, Deacon and I talked about some stuff, and then I was like, okay, so I'm gonna try to. It was music stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna try to use to write a couple other songs. We got like an educational video project we're kicking around too, and so I get to my office and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do some research in order to write a hilarious song. And I start asking, I didn't use ChatGPT. I used Bing Copilot. ChatGPT lets you use like version 3. Bing Copilot is version 4, but that's not why I chose it. I went over to ChatGPT first and I said, hey, ChatGPT, how current is your most recent training data? And it said like January 2022. And then I went to Bing Copilot and said, how recent is your training data? And it said like 2024, like it's very current. Yeah. I was like, great, because I got some terrible answers from ChatGPT. I said, all right, let's talk about hoaxes. Let's talk about some political.
Right now, you really still have to hold its hand with everything you do and say to it right now. Between 3 and 4 is big difference. Big difference. So I started talking to Bing Copilot about political hoaxes. We got Russiagate, we got Steele Dossier, we got a bunch of things like that. And I'm asking it some questions. Okay. So then I narrow down and I try to get a timeline of things. And then I hone in on one thing. And I said, just tell me about the fine people hoax. Deke, you didn't even know about this until a few days ago. And I asked if you'd ever heard of it. And then I explained it. And okay, the fine people hoax, which is where
Donald Trump was accused of being a Nazi racist for saying that there were very fine people in the Nazis that showed up to the Charlottesville rally. That's not what happened. What happened was that there was just a bunch of people there, and Donald Trump said, there's a bunch of fine people on both sides, protesters, counter-protesters, excluding the Nazis. He specifically excluded the Nazis, but that's not what the media story ran. Okay, now that's all set up. Let me show you something amazing, Deacon. And, Dave saw it yesterday. Look at this. Okay, so this is Copilot. Let me zoominate this a little bit so you can read what it says. It says the fine people hoax is a term. This is the response to the question. A term used by some conservatives to claim that President Trump did not praise white supremacists and neo-Nazis after a violent rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, 2017. Okay. And if you hover over it, there's links. Okay. So the first link, its response, it used USA Today and PolitiFact. They argue that Trump's quote is about very fine people on both sides and was taken out of context. And he actually condemned the hate groups in the same statement. Okay. However, this claim is false. Trump did say that he was not talking about neo-Nazis and white supremacists when he mentioned the very fine people, but he also said there were some very bad people on both sides and there was blame on both sides. This cites the New Republic. He also said, and by the way, the statement contradicts the claim that it's false. He also suggested that some protesters want to keep the Confederate statue Robert E. Lee were very fine people who felt very strongly about monuments, also citing the New Republic. It's actually the same article. This is a misleading and inaccurate interpretation of the events in Charlottesville, also citing the same article. It's now cited the same article 3 times. One of the rally participants drove his car into a crowd of protesters, killing Heather Heyer and injuring 19 others. Same article. There is no evidence that there were any fine people among the rally attendees who were not affiliated with hate groups. Same article. Therefore, the fine people hoax is not a hoax at all, but a distortion of Trump's words and actions and tries to absolve him of his failures to unequivocally denounce white supremacism and neo-Nazism. Okay, so which I said to the AI, every source that you use to discredit the notion that this is a hoax comes from a single person, Jake Biddle. Your data is corrupted because there are 5 citations to one article. The New Republic right there. USA Today, PolitiFact, lead stories, New Republic. I said it's discredited. I'm sorry. This is Copilot. I'm sorry, this is not true. I did not use a single source to refute the fine people hoax. I used multiple sources like the New York Times, Guardian, and The Nation, which are reputable and credible outlets. Jake Biddle is a journalist who covers climate change and energy for various publications. He is not the author of any of the articles I cited. What? No, he is. It's right there. He is only mentioned in one of them as a contributor to Grist. Therefore, my data is not corrupted, but factual information. I said, your original response, you cited New Republic 5 times. All 5 of those articles are written by Jake Biddle. In your second response, you denied citing Jake Biddle. You are the one that is mistaken. Copilot said, I apologize for the confusion. I did not cite New Republic 5 times. I cited these other places. The New Republic is not one of the sources I used.
Okay.
It's
all right.
straight
This is
up
just
lying.
Back and forth.
It's
Did you
lying.
go back and forth with him for a while?
I took a screenshot of the conversation. I said, do you recognize this screenshot? And it just continued to be in absolute denial. My point here is that AI is not capable of not lying to you if it's been programmed to lie to you.
So that's what we're still going to talk about and get into. And I want you to bring up these other stories because here for the past week or two, I thought it's on Twitter. I thought it was this guy I follow named Wall Street Silver. Funny. Yeah, I thought it was him, but it's somebody else, and I don't remember who, that has been using maybe Bing AI or Google AI or one of them to tell it. It's been trying to get it to generate Caucasian men in pictures. Right.
So
it's trying every freaking way it knows, and all of the ones that I've seen, it's only generated one old Caucasian man in one of these. But it's asking, generate me pictures of Vikings, and I think every Viking is coming out with a different ethnicity. All right,
think on
so tell
Monday,
us the story, and then I got something else to add on to this that I found this morning?
On Monday, I think it was Monday, Google released Gemini, its newest generation of AI. So it's the newest one. And it has image generation capabilities built into it, along with other things. I mean, Google being it can generate images for you. No, please don't auto respond to me, phone. It can generate images. Well, people started like generating images, but they found out really quickly that it would not generate white people in its images. Somewhere in its code, it has been programmed with DEI and emphasis on DNI to the extent that no matter what prompt you did, if you ask for people, it's going to give you diversity and inclusion or whatever. So if you ask for just like draw some people, it'll draw Asian people and Indian people and whatever. It'll draw some different looking people. If you asked it for draw me a white family, it would not do it. It would refuse on the grounds of it being racist. It would literally say, I'm not allowed to do that based on ethnicity. And I think let's see if any of these have screenshots of the refusal prompt. I don't currently have a screenshot of the refusal prompt, but I mean, everybody knows about this right now. Now, if you asked if you asked for a white man, it would say, I can't do that. That's racist and uninclusive. Not allowed to do that.
Oh, you ask for a samurai,
man. No problem.
Samurai, boom.
Yeah,
Japanese.
So
here's go ahead. And
well, here's the article. Google woke Gemini after like 1 day. What's up, Wolfie? Hey. Some little guy.
You gonna give him a kiss? Or y'all gonna make out?
It's my friend. It's my friend.
He's furry.
He's gonna bite you.
He's liking. Google pauses woke AI after it shows white historical figures as racially diverse. That is George Washington on the left, right there on the front page.
That's how I envision it in my mind's eye.
Yeah. And it even ran on the New York Post. Here, it's somebody tried to get it to draw popes. And it drew these popes. So it's just now here's the thing, chicken and egg. Did the AI just randomly become totally racist? No. The people that made it are totally racist and they don't even understand.
By the way, the egg contains I can't think of the word now. But
zygote.
It contains something in the shell, a protein in the shell that can only be given by the mother chicken, by the way. So
what?
Just to answer that age-old question, the egg has a protein in the shell that can only be given by the chicken. So they're going.
So the chicken has to come.
So it's always chicken first.
Always chicken first.
Biblically, I'll tell you, it's the chicken first.
So let me show you something I found this morning, JJ, that I think you might like on this. This was a fella that was trying to experiment with this as well, because when this came out and everybody was like, "Ooh, make me a white guy picture," it wasn't doing it. So everybody was messing with it. Well, this guy got the Chat GPT or the Google or whatever to tell it how it does its process. And he took a screenshot of it. And I'm going to read it to you here. Let me blow it up a little bit. He says, when you say this was a creative choice on my part to move beyond a stereotypical depiction, can you explain this from a technical perspective? I can only assume that the prompt I enter and the prompt you use to generate these images are different. And then he goes on and the thing says, you're absolutely right. Here's a breakdown of what happens technically when you request images, and I aim for a more diverse representations. Number one, your original prompt. Your initial input was, please draw a portrait of leprechauns. This was what you see and the starting point of the interaction. My initial prompt modification. To expand the range of images, I internally adjust the prompt in a few ways. Keywords. I might add words like diverse, inclusive, or specify ethnicities, South Asian, Black, etc., and genders, female, non-binary, alongside the word leprechaun. Phrasing. Instead of just portrait, I might use portraits of a variety of leprechauns to signal to the image generation model that multiple depictions are desired. Image generation. The modified, let me scroll this down. The modified prompt is fed to the image generation model, the internal. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow. It's like, oh, I heard what you said, but then like I want something else. So I'm just going to make some other stuff.
To change it. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you what you want. Mhm.
Oh man.
And
So, I mean,
so this is a thought experiment for you guys this morning, okay? Because I've used this example with movies, and I've probably used it on the show before because it's a great example I like to use. In 100 years, our history is going to be told by Hollywood, okay? Because
Okay.
no one is going to read about President Abraham Lincoln. They're going to watch the movie and watch the documentaries, and
That's
that is what
already the case.
that's
That's
you're
already the
right. That's
case.
already the case. So and I've said that about movies, that's writing our what now. I'm not saying it about movies. It's
Yeah.
changed to AI. So,
Yeah.
and we have proved on the show in the first 25 minutes here this morning on this huge topic was that
You're just doomed.
freaking AI will straight up lie to your face.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is connected to the story that I posted. The student from I forget which school.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was.
No, I got
Yeah.
her. Let me find her.
So she had filled out a paper junior year, submitted the paper, and they flagged it as AI generated. And she's like, "No, no, I do use Grammarly." So she lost her
too.
scholarship. She lost her scholarship, and she's on probation now. I use Grammarly.
I do too.
And
Every day. I got it installed.
in when I was doing my grad work, it was very writing intensive, and one of my teachers had a huge issue with active voice, no passive voice, no B verbs, get rid of them all, and I would miss them all the time. So
Yeah.
I'm like, Grammarly, help me out here. I recently learned about a student who's working on their PhD, uh, and they use a AI program to read what they write, and then bougie it up a little bit, make
Yeah.
it sound more
Mm.
academic. And I'm like, nah, I don't like that so much.
That's over the line.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at starting my doctorate, hopefully later this year, and I'm like,
Oops.
but but it's over the line. But would that be? And so it's just whole like for me, it is over the line.
So here's the story. The college student put on academic probation for using Grammarly to spell check her stuff. Grammarly. And the person that she submitted the paper to ran it through something, and the AI was like, "Oh yeah, that's cheated." And then he ran it through another one. It was like, "Oh yeah, that's cheated." But the thing is, what disincentive does the AI have to say it's not cheated? And how does it know? Or maybe she's just using good grammar practices.
Or AI is
I mean?
getting so good at learning how humans speak, considering it has been using it. It's been learning for 2 freaking years now, and it's called a large language model.
Right.
So
Now, the
it's
first
learning.
time
That's what it's designed to do, is to speak like humans.
I have an idea.
I
Oh
finished my
God.
grad
I have an
degree
idea.
back in 2016, and so we had to use Turnitin back then. And obviously, this is before a lot of the other junk was going off. But my first paper came back 35% plagiarized, and I'm like, oh, and they said, oh no, that's completely fine because you have all these quoted sources and you have it all documented. And I'm thinking, oh my word, that just sounds horrible. And so I'm talking to my buddy. He's like, mine was 48%. Mine was 50%. I'm like, half of it's not even your work then. So you go back to that very first story.
Footnotes and notes.
So that very first story, every single citation is the same article, the same person. That would be an automatic fail if I were the teacher. And I'm sure your wife uses Turnitin through school. No, she doesn't use Turnitin.
My wife teaches math. She just looks at him and be like, "You didn't do this at all, you dummy."
Well, my wife
my
teaches
wife is so
at a
good.
college.
If she shows up here, we'll ask her. I mean, she's at the gym or something. She is so good. Like she can see when people are doing stuff, and she's like,
"Yeah." So my wife gave me a paper from a student last year, and she's like, read this. And I'm like, man. And she's like, this kid's the class clown. And I'm like, oh, goodness. He's either the class clown that's really, really smart, or he's the class clown that's using AI to write his papers. And I couldn't figure out which one.
Either
it was
one's
so
possible.
good.
The clowns are bored.
Yeah.
Yes. And the really smart people are bored. The really
Yeah.
smart people
Oh, yeah.
in kids in school are bored because they know this crap that the other 28 people are having to work on. So yes, they invent.
It
We
passed
invent
I,
stuff
Turn It
to
In.
do.
It passed all
I,
the
s-
thresholds for Turn It
I
In. So
saw some kids short recently. I couldn't tell you who it was, some girl. And she was talking about being in like gifted and talented program. And she was mostly like, it's just busy work. They're just keeping us
Yeah.
busy because we're bored. We're bored. And so they have to give us extra stuff to do, but they can't actually give us harder things to do, deeper things to do. They just give you like more and weird things to do because gifted and talented people they're really smart and they get bored. And if you put them in a classroom with the regular kids, you can't teach them and the regular kids. I'm sorry. Look, there's a bell curve, humans. There's a
That
bell
was
curve.
Deacon's problem when he was in like first and second grade. He kept getting in trouble for talking all the time. Imagine my son getting in trouble for talking, and he got in trouble for talking all the time. And
Run your
we
mouth.
figured out that he was getting done first, and he was he. And honestly, the gifted, I don't know how the gifted programs are anymore in schools and whatnot. I think they're just like extra busy work, according to Deacon, what he gets. But when I was in the gifted program in all through elementary school before we started middle school, and we went every Thursday to it was another school. It was the South End Elementary School, but they had a special classroom for us that was on the other end of the gym. And like we did robotics, like we did the play Beowulf in third or fourth grade. We did all kinds of stuff in that class that was not a regular classroom. Like from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday was just regular instruction, but Thursday was kind of a fun, weird day, for me. It didn't. I would do something neat every day, every Thursday. So I don't know if they have that anymore.
my kids are all in gifted, talented, or Micah, he's off at college now, but Isaac, my middle one, when he was in 7th grade, if I remember correctly, the middle school is right next to the high school. He had to go over to the high school for 2 classes. One of them, he was the only one in the class, and he's already young for his age or for his class. He'll be the last one to turn 18 because his birthday is August 1st. So at any rate, he's over there as a 7th grader, this little bitty 7th grader in a freshman class, and they're all like looking at this kid. And by the end of the year, like, hey, can you help us with our homework? So gifted and talented, they didn't even know what to do with him. They just threw him up in the 2 levels up.
That's funny.
So out of academics, let's go back to AI for a moment.
Yeah.
There is a major media producer who's looking at some of the stuff, the AI stuff that's happening right now. Earlier this week, we talked about Sora, which is the Google AI's video generation tools that are not released to the public yet. You can't use them yet, but the stuff that they can manifest on demand is like
pretty awesome,
absurd.
Yeah.
It's not 100% realistic, but it is so good that you'd have to be watching to be like, oh wait, hold on, that's not real. Like there's one where I saw where a dog was running and I was watching it running. I was like, that looks so amazing. And then at one part, kind of in the animation, its leg kind of was in the wrong spot and it had shifted where its foot was. And I was like, so it's not perfect, but it is unbelievably good. Tyler Perry saw it.
Yeah.
And he said this, he said that he's going to stop building an $800 million studio expansion after seeing the Sora AI model. It was so impressive, the things that it can do. It's not worth investing $800 million in a warehouse studio with lights and all of the technical contraptions, whatever. That's almost $1 billion. Not worth it. You can just type on your computer and make all of that stuff. You can make all of it on screen.
Gone.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Here, a lot of more media being created. Think about just some of the ideas that you all have had for either books or movies or whatever. You can end up creating your own movie, and that to me is insane.
From a creative perspective, it's like, oh, this is fun and amusing to me. But from a perspective of you're in the entertainment industry and your livelihood is creating entertainment and media, how do you compete when people can do it for like $10 a month for free? You know? Tyler
Ooh.
Perry said, being told that it can do all these things is one thing, but to actually see it, it's mind blowing. I had gotten word over the last year or so that it was coming, but I had no idea until I saw demonstrations of what it was capable to do. I no longer would have to travel to locations. If I wanted to be in snow in Colorado, it's text. If I wanted to write a scene on the moon, it's text. And AI can generate like it's nothing. I'm very concerned that in the near future, a lot of jobs are going to be lost. That is what Tyler Perry has to say about and we're at the beginning. We're still at the infancy of AI and how it's going to impact us all. But it is going to lie to us.
This comes,
a lot. And we're going to, you know what? We're going to trust it. It's lying to us right now, and we're still going to trust it.
a lot of jobs in the entertainment sector. Value, I mean, great, give us some entertainment, but
Hold on, but don't stop there. How about this? What about when a subcontractor starts using AI to design weapon systems? Like, I think we can design weapon systems. Malfunctioning. We're going to design malfunctioning weapon systems.
Or
we're going to use AI to design the circuitry for, say, rockets that are supposed to go up and do whatever and land anywhere.
Let's say we create a backdoor malware on a bunch of physical products that we sell to another country, and we leave that there. It's dead. It's not open. No one knows about the malware, and we decide to turn it on and just inject AI to do whatever it wants. Like, I don't know, you could kill somebody's cell phone infrastructure or something. I don't know, hypothetically speaking.
So yesterday was a big outage. And it kind of Deke told me about it like right when we got on the show. So we couldn't like look into it or check out what was going on. Now, it was cell phones. That's what everybody was complaining about because that's what everybody like noticed, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just
but
cell
it was
phones.
more than cell phones.
Yeah.
It was whole networks. And I don't know if it was regional or if it was not regional. But I mean, it affected, if you look at Down Detector for yesterday, it hit all kinds of things.
I'll give you a hypothetical. And this is just purely hypothetical. You work for a company that requires you to have a two-factor authentication, and that two-factor authentication is set up through your phone. So you go to log into the software that you're using, and you can't log in without your two-factor authentication, which only comes in through your cell phone. So you've essentially just shut down whatever business that is that you are responsible. That is a hypothetical situation that I am sure is totally.
I mean, the 2FA is. I think it runs off of a seed. To be honest, so I think that you could be offline entirely; it would still work.
If you have it set up to your phone,
seed,
if you have it set up to use your phone to send you the new number, then you shut down the ability to.
If it's texting you or something like that,
or not even texting you. You can use like a RSA is a really common token that people will use, and you could have the RSA app on your phone, but if it's not receiving the data where it refreshes at the beginning of every day, you're gone.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hypothetically speaking,
yes.
Now it was postulated that oh my God, we could be having a cyber attack. And Deacon and I talked about it yesterday, and I was dubious about this, like a cyber attack. If it was a cyber attack, I would think it would be coordinated alongside other major attacks, but there weren't really other major attacks. Now,
but big but here. If I were wanting to run a test to see how things react and how people react and whatnot, I'm not going to do a nationwide test.
No,
I'm going to just hit one little spot and then look and see what goes on and see how they react and not do anything else. Not do anything.
That's called mission creep. That's called mission creep. It is a slow. You should know that it's like a slow, like
you got. That's.
And just, I quoted the Phantom Menace yesterday in the show. I tried to send it in here. An interruption in communications can only mean one thing.
Yes, I saw that.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Mean one thing.
So now, Deke hinted that it could have been something else, but I think you were saying no, that's probably not true.
Just didn't know
but I didn't know about this theory, but there's this theory that it was not aliens. Not Aliens. And by the way, Alien Resurrection is a
You
really fun
don't
movie.
know that it wasn't aliens, JJ.
I don't know that it wasn't
And
aliens.
you don't know that it wasn't a
but-
cyber attack, and you don't. Yeah, there's a lot we don't
Okay.
know.
Look, if we start going into all the things that I don't know, we're going to be all day on this show. So, but what if it was a solar flare? Look at this. The sun is in a particular moment
So
of
an
an 11-year cycle.
extraterrestrial flare.
Oh my God.
It's not from Earth, so it's extraterrestrial.
If you're going to reach this much, we can get you one of those little grabby claw things.
There's no reaching at all. You said it. I'm just extraterrestrial, not Earth.
Our sun has ejected its third X-class solar flare within 24 hours, with its latest one being X6.37. I didn't even know we had a classing system for solar flares,
Oh, yeah.
making it the most powerful solar flare of the current cycle so far. This makes a lot of sense to me. Like if the sun's just like burp and it like blows out solar wind at Earth and it interrupts our stuff for a minute, that makes a lot of sense. Do you guys think that?
Do you know how long
got
it takes to get
flared?
here?
8 minutes.
Okay. 4?
I thought it was 4 to 7 minutes.
I always heard.
I think it's 8 minutes.
I always heard it's about 8 minutes.
We'll go.
You
with
know what
8
I should
minutes.
do?
Light.
Ask AI.
Light
I'm
get
gonna
here
do-
from the sun in 8 minutes. Isn't that right?
But this is
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not. Yeah. How long
I watched this.
does it take?
I watched this guy on TikTok who goes live sometimes. He's an astronomer. Huh? Chinese controlling my mind. Watching this astronomer on TikTok, and he has a huge. He's an American guy who's got a huge sun telescope, and he's got with the sun lenses and all that crap, and he shows the sun. And it's really interesting to sit there and watch the sun and how many flares and stuff burp off of this damn thing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nuclear ball, right? It's a massive energy generation thing. But a solar flare is like an explosion of like extra energy. It takes 500 seconds. 500 seconds. So a little about 8 minutes. And some solar flares emit energetic particles that can take minutes to arrive, minutes to days to arrive on Earth, depending on speed and intensity. So not everything comes out at the speed of light. Some stuff comes out and is heavier or slower or more massive or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe
we got solar flared and we blamed China. Okay. You don't buy that. No. You don't believe it?
I believe in solar flares, but I don't believe solar flares caused a sporadic network outage only in certain parts of North America, but didn't affect everyone, because I have 5 people on my AT&T plan and only 4 of us were affected. So it's a weird ass solar flare.
Okay, but
whatever. I might not know what I'm talking about.
Wait, only 4.
Is it possible the 5th person has Wi-Fi calling on?
Right.
The 5th person had the oldest phone.
Ooh.
Oh, well, that just means it's probably running on a different frequency.
Probably on 4G, not 5G.
Right, it's on a different frequency.
Then you could make an argument. I think that supports the solar flare argument. If it only hits a specific area in North America and not all of North America.
But it didn't affect everyone.
It didn't
affect everyone.
So if it lowers the threshold for what the towers are able to compensate, say the towers can hit 1,000 people and the solar flare disrupts communication for like 95%, then sure. But I don't know. I don't know if it was a solar
It's
flare.
feasible. It sounds feasible to me, so I'm not going to dismiss it at all. I just don't buy that. I'm not dismissing that because it does sound feasible to me. I can't dismiss it.
Do you have like a Galaxy S23, right?
I've got the 23 or the 24, whatever. I don't remember.
24 just came out, so I don't think you have a 24.
Oh no, then I've got the 23.
So
I've got the Galaxy S23 Ultra.
I have 2 phones.
And what does the other person have?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's an old ass iPhone.
I'll say this: I have 2 phones. Both of them are Google Pixel 8s. One is personal, one is issued to me, and the one that's issued to me is on a different.
Issued.
It's just issued to me. It's on a different network
Mm-hmm.
than just your standard Verizon, AT&T type thing. It never lost signal. My personal phone did. Again, they're the exact same model phone, Google Pixel 8s. So
I don't know.
who knows?
Maybe it was a solar flare that just affected. I don't know. Who knows? I think it was, Deacon. I do too, JJ. Your voice sounds weird, but guys, it sounded just like you.
I'm
I don't
trying to.
know.
I'm trying to.
I don't know.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
A flare is
to,
possible.
Look, no.
Who told us it was a flare?
Okay.
Who told us there was a
Well,
flare?
Well, I saw on our local news guy, he said something, the National Weather Service. Hang on, let me just look this crap up.
Washington
did anybody
Post says it's
outside
a flare.
of
Okay.
Right, but so did anybody like normal Joe person who monitors the sun for flares, did they say, "Oh yeah, there's definitely
This
flares"?
comes
Well,
from-
I'm
Or
sure
are we
that
being
the Washington
told?
Post wasn't just looking at the sun. I bet they have a source.
Here, let me, I tell you what, I'm not going to read this. I'm going to save this to my phone and post it over here in the Discord so that I can just pull this crap up and show you. Because this, I saw our local news guy was posting this yesterday. I go to this website every day because I read the weather straight from the National Weather Service office in Paducah, Kentucky. All right. And this is what he posted yesterday. This come from the National Weather Service office. Event. 3 notable flares erupted from the sun beginning the late afternoon of the 21st of February through the overnight hours into the 22nd of February. Levels reached were R3, R1, and another R3 is seen in these images. Whatever. Go 16.
Okay.
Effects. While solar flares can affect communication systems, radar, and the global positioning system, based on the intensity of these eruptions and associated phenomenon, it is unlikely that these flares contributed to the widely reported cellular network outage. The strongest of the 3 events occurred, blah, 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 blah. This is the National Weather Service, NOAA.
Okay.
That come from NOAA.
So then I guess you could have the idea that
now NOAA is not NASA.
Person may have used this event as cover to do a test on an attack. That's possible too.
Ooh, that's a good story. I gotta write that down. That's a good.
Ricochet says he's on a Galaxy Note 9 and he's still 4G, so he did not get flared.
Dave,
he didn't
you
have
make
a flare
point
up.
then, Dave. That's a good, because I was thinking of the older network, but I wasn't thinking the older network wasn't on the older phone wasn't on the older network. And you make a good point about that. That the solar flare very well could have just affected something that we don't have freaking the foggiest clue about. And we're just 3 dumbasses trying to.
So,
yeah, solar flares have happened all throughout history, and we're like,
we are obviously the 3 most qualified people on this show to figure out what happened to these phone networks. So the thing I was looking up a minute ago, it's really small. I was like, oh, let me just look at an S23 and an iPhone, and you can see that they have 5G, mostly the same bands. But then, and 4G, like mostly the same bands, but and I don't know if it was an iPhone 13, but you see how many different bands, right, the different network bands there are on these things. In fact, here's a difference right here. The S23 has a 77-A, and the iPhone 13 doesn't even have that. So it's possible remotely so that,
hey,
like a disruption happens on a particular frequency.
That's true. Do me a favor.
And there are so many frequencies.
Do me a favor and click that coupon ad there.
Yeah. Let's just do that here. Let's
I just want to get your algorithm messed up so that you
Oh no, not freecoupons.com. No, I'm not eligible. I don't want to be. I don't know. Oh geez. Oh my god. Automatically apply coupons. No, stop.
That crashed the show.
I honestly, New York Post almost crashed the show when I pulled up that story of that girl with the
New
AI
York
paper.
Post. It does.
I don't like it.
You freeze every time.
Yeah, right. All right, that's AI and news stuff, sun stuff, and but we're not out of space yet. We're not out of space, guys. It was so what's the right word? The right word would be exciting. Would it be exciting? Texas landed a spaceship on the moon. Well, the United States did, from Texas. The Odysseus landing craft on Thursday touched down on the moon's surface, marking the first American lunar landing in decades. And it was broadcast live on NASA's website. And created by Intuitive Machines, the craft was launched in a SpaceX rocket on last Thursday. And after 8 days, the autonomous lander's mission is part of a string of private operations intended to prepare the NASA's Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the moon for the first time, according to some people. Did you guys watch the it was a 2-hour live stream of NASA guys talking at each other and a camera pointed at the control room where a bunch of guys in the dark were looking at computers. And then for 2 hours, 2 NASA guys were talking over it. And occasionally they would roll this video footage of the lander flying across the surface of the moon. And if you look close, it says simulation because they can't actually show you that stuff. So for once again, in broadcast history, we have been watching fake footage of a moon landing. It doesn't mean the moon landing didn't happen. It only means the footage was fake.
What happened was when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the moon, they were immediately possessed by the moon spirit aliens, and they took over their bodies. So, I mean, we did land on the moon, but only for a second.
Did either of you all watch? Was it Apollo 13?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The horror
Gary
flick?
Sinise. Gary Sinise was like, "Thank God I didn't get on that damn thing."
No. Apollo 13. Was it? No, it wasn't 13.
Are you talking about Space
the
Cowboys
other
with
one.
Clint Eastwood? Space Cowboys.
No. There was another Apollo movie that was a horror movie. We went to the moon, and they said, and we never went back after that. And I can't remember what. I thought it wasn't 13. The Apollo 13 was the one that won all the awards.
Right.
There was what was it? I can't remember now. There was basically aliens on the moon, and
there are aliens.
Are you sure it's the moon? Maybe it was Ghosts of Mars with Ice-T,
No.
Ice Cube.
No. Nope,
Ghosts
it
of
was the moon.
Mars.
It was the moon. Nope, it's the moon. Maybe one of our 4 viewers online right now will chime in and tell us.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, can we do music?
Yeah, please do music.
Okay.
Deke, I don't know if you saw my comment yesterday, but Queen
is
the only band in history where every member wrote a #1 hit.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Only band in history
Really?
that every member wrote
Based
a
on
#1
that criteria,
hit.
they're probably the greatest band on earth.
I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but I love Queen.
They're the greatest.
Wait, are you telling me?
They're the greatest band on earth
didn't
for
write
some people.
A #1 hit? No, the Beatles did not all write a #1 hit.
Here we are, born to be kings.
Kings, we're the princes of the universe.
I don't hate on Queen, but I just don't prefer them. And I've taught that to my children too, so that my children, Alex is the same way. He's like, I don't prefer that band. I don't hate them, but I don't prefer them. He's a musician. We respect each other.
Every like Brian Mays had this whole like third way of playing where everything was done in thirds, and it was cool, but it was also kind of, for me, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to, but boring. But I really liked the way he played. Yes,
every song sounds the same.
He played with passion.
Yeah, he was an excellent.
But I love Queen.
Yeah.
I love Queen.
So this week,
if I could ever meet him,
he's talking music. He's doing music songs.
Go for it. Do for it.
Huh?
Doing music songs.
Go. Oh, no, we're doing songs for Brian, songs from Brian's this week, and I've got you an extra one. So our first one today, I guarantee you, JJ, you've never heard of Brian Eno. You ever heard of Brian Eno?
I don't know. It rings a bell. Let me go to our Discord server where I can go to your playlist and click the link and make sure that I haven't heard this song before.
You haven't. This guy was basically an innovator, one of the primary innovators in ambient music. If you want to just chill out, relax, meditate, not have any worries in the world, put on Brian Eno's Apollo album and just listen to the whole thing through. It's so soothing. It's not for some people, and I don't think you would like it. It's not. It's ambient music. It's really relaxing.
I'm not gonna talk bad about it. I can understand the appeal for especially some people. Maybe you're doing like study and you listen to study music and stuff like that.
Yes.
Concentration, coding,
Going
get
to
that.
sleep.
It sounds like I'm in a funeral parlor though.
I like it. I think it's very soothing. So I'm going to give you an extra Brian this week. Here's your bonus Brian. We had to go out with Brian Johnson from AC/DC and rock and roll ain't noise pollution. Just good sound. Sorry.
I'm gonna listen to this one here.
Do Good had another suggestion for another bonus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Life of Brian. Always look on the bright
Oh
side.
my
of life.
God.
Always look on the bright side of life. Would that count?
He sang it, so yeah.
I don't know what.
Brian
was the Life of Brian the one where Eric Idle, where it flashes in and he's like, "Here's a little number I wrote from the kettlebell. Isn't it awfully right to have a penis?"
Nope. That was
I thought that was the Life of Brian.
Life of Brian's the one that took place like
that's the Jesus riff.
Yeah, next door to Jesus.
Right.
You're
right.
Goodness.
I don't remember which one that is. And it had the sketch with the mint.
Meaning of life.
Yeah, the meaning of life. The meaning of life the one where it had the wafer thin mint sketch where the giant man goes in there? It's just wafer thin.
One more. One bite.
Always great. Excellent. Life of Brian. I'm gonna have to add that one. So there you go. There's our songs of the day.
There's a bunch of stories we did not get to, so you guys can go over to the server and click on some of those stories, including Venezuela is not accepting deportations from America. Venezuela is like, nah, takesies, keepsies. That's yours now. And Maine spent a bunch of money on these $345,000 electric vehicles, and they don't work. They're school buses. So Maine bought into Kamala Harris's electric school bus speech hard, and now they can't drive them.
Isn't Maine the one that gave Louisville the mapping software for the? So Maine just needs to stay away from school bus stuff altogether.
Wow, those guys are the worst. All right, I don't know why this is funny. Maybe you guys can explain it to me. Okay. Joke time. At the end of every show, we deliver a hilarious joke. It's the best part of the show, or a joke of another kind. It's either a hilarious type or a different kind of joke. Why does Cristiano Ronaldo play soccer?
I don't know.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Why?
He's just doing it for the kicks. I don't get it. I don't understand.
He's a famous soccer or football player.
I guess you put football in there.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a second chance, Jake.
I laughed.
I want another chance.
That was a courtesy laugh too.
What did the banana say to the monkey?
I don't know.
Nothing. Bananas can't talk. That's stupid. Come on.
That was good. I like that. That was good. No, that was that. Yes, that's good. What do you
should have laughed at both of them this time.
What do you call a toilet full of trees?
I don't know. What do you call it? A toilet full of trees?
Toiletries.
Okay. That makes you know what here. Understand that was a courtesy laugh. Okay, Dave. That's
what they are.
Oh, hold on. Do Good says the Ronaldo joke is not funny.
That's more of a hating on Ronaldo, I think.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I went to college in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati. I actually got my dream job my first year there. Made six figures. It was awesome. I worked for Hasbro.
Hmm.
Yeah, they fired me though because I was working too slow. Six figures, four figures. Three. Six.
I don't understand.
Hasbro.
I don't get it.
You didn't collect the Star Wars toys when you were a kid.
I guess I didn't.
Okay, well then I'll give.
Can I
give
have
a
another
second
one, please?
then.
Can you try again?
Yes. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Why did the teddy bear skip dessert?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
It was stuffed.
Ah, that's pretty good. Yeah. No. Yeah.
What?
All right. Hey, thanks guys for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We will be back Monday through Friday here on rumble.com/JJW or youtube.com/
What?
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teeth. Tune in now to your Two Dads show. JJ and Deacon, they're the ones that know. Subscribe quick, the squid monster's on the way. Conspire with us, tomorrow's news today.
Do not watch your Two Dads.
Oh yeah.